A lot of people are jumping on these AI tools with the attitude of, what can AI do for me? And I'm approaching it more with an attitude of, what can AI do with me? I see AI tools as collaborators. And particularly, I'm talking about creativity because I'm a creative person, a writer, director, storyteller. And so the idea of having a creative collaborator available 24/7 is really appealing to me, because collaboration is great, but obviously, if you have a live partner, you can't call them in the middle of the night and bounce ideas off them, or you could, but it's going to annoy them. I really see the potential of AI as a creative collaborator as opposed to a replacement, and that's a collaborator that's going to help amplify creativity in unprecedented ways. Let's jump into it. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video, specifically how I've been using AI tools and how I see the future of AI tools in regards to creativity, creative output, and so on. So a little more about my background as a writer and director, screenwriter and director in the film industry in the US, out in Los Angeles, Hollywood, as they like to call it. And one of the hardest parts about doing that in the pursuing filmmaking in the US is that movies, traditionally the way movies are made with cameras, actors, locations, right, in real life, very expensive. And that is quite limiting because it means, money is a finite resource. And so only a certain number of movies can get made. And especially when we're talking about bigger budget movies, only a certain, or even less of those can get made, right, because of the cost. So the life of a screenwriter or director in Hollywood is this constant getting projects going or moving to a certain point, but then they don't actually get made. And so if you talk to any screenwriter, director in Hollywood, even the top ones, most of their projects never got made, right? Even, you could get the biggest directors, whatever, a Ridley Scott or anyone huge, a Spielberg. Yes, they've had more movies made than just about anyone else, but there are so many more projects that they were working on that never actually got made. And so this is obviously super frustrating for anyone in that field. And there's a lot of people, that never have anything made. And some of them, there's a lot of people that get paid for writing scripts, but none of them ever get made. It is such a small percentage of anything that's ever gets made. Just imagine whatever you do for a living. Imagine just working on something and this never actually gets made. It never ever actually gets put into reality. It's just sitting on, it used to be sitting in stacks of scripts, now just on a computer somewhere. It's just an unrealized project that somebody spent thousands of hours creating and working on, or multiple people. Anyway, point being is that I only actually got one movie made myself. This was a comedy movie that I wrote and directed. It's out on Amazon Prime and Apple TV if you want to check it out. But I obviously want to make more than one movie. And there's now these AI tools that are coming out, and they're opening up a lot of opportunities. And to get into specifically how I've been using them for filmmaking is starting with brainstorming, concept development. We're going to make a movie, a piece of content, a short video, anything, just writing a blog post or a social media post, starts in the brainstorming and concept development stage. And so I found that the AI tools can be helpful for this. And so I used ChatGPT for a while, and then more recently I've switched to Claude AI, which is another large language model like ChatGPT, which I find just better for creative writing and writing in general, really. And so basically I'll brainstorm my ideas and I'll put that into either ChatGPT or Claude now, and I'll ask them, do you have any other ideas like this or that could help this? So I'll give it my ideas and some example, what I'm thinking, and then I'll ask, let's brainstorm some more ideas, right? And so then it'll take in what I'm writing and throw out some other ideas that are in the vein of what I'm saying. Like it's, trying to give me ideas that I'll like. And a lot of them are crap, but some of them are, occasionally there's some good ones. And then a lot of times the specific ideas they give are not great, but it makes me think, it leads me to a good idea, right? Because they come with maybe a slightly different angle or different area that I wasn't quite looking at. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, okay. So what if the mom never comes home? Just making some up a hypothetical example, then what could happen? So anyway, it can help just lead me down other paths. So it helps me perhaps with brainstorming and then developing the concept. And then also, besides brainstorming, the tools like ChatGPT and Claude, they're also good for organizing, right? If I can put in a bunch of like random ideas and different thoughts that I have, which I'll write down at different time on a notebook or on my phone when I think of them. And so it'll be very like disorganized, ideas all over the place, something that, might happen in the middle, random pieces of dialogue, character ideas, this sort of thing. And then I can put just a mess into an AI tool, ChatGPT or Claude, and it'll organize it all for me, right? And it'll put it into an outline or whatever form I will ask it for, an outline or a scene breakdown or whatever, a treatment, whatever the case may be. It'll take all this disorganized information and organize it very nicely for me, which saves me a lot of time because, yeah, I could do that myself, but it just takes time, and also just takes energy, mental energy, and it's not really necessary that I do it. It can organize it fine. It's good at that. The AI tools are good at that. So that's another way that I use it to just save time and quicken the process. And then it's also like the writing tools are good for, like, okay, here's my version. Give me 10 other, versions of this scene or 10 other things the dad could say in this scenario, right? And so it'll give me alternate versions of what I've already written. And sometimes I use an alternate version, right? Sometimes it gives me a good one, or again, it makes me think of another version of it. So that's another good use of it, because just as writers, obviously you can get into a groove where you get a little repetitive, perhaps, with the way you approach certain scenes or plot developments or characters, whatever the case may be. And so just having this as a tool to quickly give you a bunch of alternate versions, and then you can choose one you like and run with it. So I really like that. Okay, so let's say we write a script, right? We're going to make some kind of short video or just a narrative piece. Now, if you look on my YouTube channel in the short section, you'll see about 20-something AI generated videos, and they're short comedy sketches. They're all about superheroes basically dealing with everyday problems, but they're all completely AI generated and using this process that I'm describing now, starting with the large language model like ChatGPT and Claude to come up with different ideas. And then I write the script, and with the help, sometimes I'll have written out, I've gotten the story part, and then it's just in regular form, and I'll put it into the AI tool and say, put this in a script form. And then it'll put it into script form, which is a certain format with the action, the dialogue, the characters, etc. And then I'll go in and rewrite it, but it saves me time by just putting it into script format very quickly. Okay, then want to get into the visual. What I do is, so for me, I'm a screenwriter and director, but I'm very much about the story and the characters. I'm not a particularly visual director, meaning there are film directors that are very much visual. They have the idea of what every shot looks like, and they're designing every shot, what angle, what kind of camera, not just what kind of camera, but what kind of lens and the lighting and all these details, which is just not my forte. Like when I made my movie, I would discuss creatively what I wanted with the DP, the director of photography, who and say, this is what I want the scene to feel like, this is what's going on in the scene, and what I want it to express. But then he would choose like the camera angle, the lens, the lighting, all that to give it the feel and the, that I wanted. And then he would show it to me and I would say, I like it, or can we change this a little bit? I don't like that part. But so when it comes to now with the AI tools, you can, right, if you are a visual director, you can describe exactly what you want to look like. But since I'm not, I will basically have like a ChatGPT. I'll basically tell it, okay, come up with all the shots for this scene, right, or this video. So I'll put in the script. So for these short comedic video, I'll put in the script and say, list all the shots for this video that we need. And then I'll say, I'll use a reference film or director to say, hey, I want it to look like this, right? I made a Batman comedy video and I made a couple, but I put in, make this look like a Christopher Nolan Batman film. And I put the details of everything I want in the shot and tell me tell me the camera type, tell me the lens, tell me the lighting, tell me the f-stop, so that and make it look like a Christopher Nolan Batman. So then when it gives me the shot, it'll describe it fully with all the details about camera and angle and lighting and all that. And then I can take that and put it into an image generator. I usually use Midjourney, an AI image generator, and then it'll give me an image that looks like what I want, because I'll have had ChatGPT craft this specific, very detailed, specific prompt that is compared to a Christopher Nolan Batman film, which has been well recorded on the internet. So ChatGPT can go find the specifics of like how they shot those movies, what kind of camera and lens and lighting and style and all that. So then it can use that information in the prompt that it gives me to then put into Midjourney and give me an image that looks like what I want. So that's what I'll do. And then I'll do that with all the shots. I'll get a detailed prompt from ChatGPT for an image of each shot, and I'll put that into Midjourney, an AI image generator, and then I'll give me all these images, still images of from the video. And so then I'll take those and I'll put them into an image to video AI generator. For any kind of action, I'll use Runway, and basically I'll put the image from Midjourney into Runway, and I'll put a little prompt about the kind of movement that I want in the shot, and then I'll generate it. And also it'll take the image and animate it per my instructions about what kind of action I want in it. And for talking, I'll use, what I have used is mostly a tool called DID, which is very good at making faces talk from images. It doesn't do any other movement, so like the body is just still, but the face looks good and the mouth looks good when it talks. So that's what I've been using. Runway and other tools are putting out lip sync capabilities to make the mouth move when talking. So I'm experimenting with those, but for all the videos that you see on my YouTube channel, I use the tool called DID to make the characters talk, right? And so point being is, this is it's a good tool to make. And AI provides these tools to make the videos. And of course, it's still very early. If you look at these videos that I made, they don't look like an actual Batman movie or Spider-Man movie or anything. You can tell they're a little wonky, but it's pretty cool that I can make them already with AI tools. Like, I couldn't make those before AI tools unless I had a big budget. So it's already cool, and the tools are getting better and better. And also I use 11 Labs to generate the voices, and I'll either choose a voice from their library or I'll clone a voice that I take from other audio. I'll put in there and clone a voice in certain cases. So for example, in the Iron Man videos that I made, I cloned Robert Downey Jr.'s voice because it's so recognizable. Everyone associates Iron Man with that voice. So I wanted to use the voice, whereas in a lot of the other ones, I just chose voices from the library that kind of fit the particular superhero, right? But then then I'll generate the audio, the dialogue with 11 Labs, and then I'll edit it all together in an editing program. I use Adobe Premiere Pro, but you can use anything. And point being is, I don't know if you're still watching, if you're interested in that whole process, but the point is that the AI tools are allowing me to make things that I couldn't make before without a budget and do things quicker, like I was saying about brainstorming, organizing information, putting it into different formats, like going from a treatment to a script, etc. And it just makes it quicker. So on one case, it's like you having an assistant and organizing the information into a different format. That's like having a writing assistant. Some of the brainstorming and alternate versions of stuff, that's like having a writing partner. Not as good as a great writing partner, but there is a partnership there that's really helping. And there's just so much potential here to use these tools to enhance your creativity and then also enhance your output and make it quicker and faster and give you different options as far as video creation that you couldn't do before without the AI tools unless you had money or just a lot of resources, right? Actors, cameras, all that. I think it's amazing, the possibilities, and already I'm using the tools every day to do stuff. However, there are limitations which will continue to increase or decrease. The limits will decrease. There will be less limits as the tools get better. But there are risks here, and the risks, there might be huge risks, like we've seen in Terminator and Matrix movies. There could be that kind of risk. But what definitely the kind of risk I can see is that people don't put enough of their own creativity and their own input into the work, and they just let AI do all the work for them or most of it, in which case it's not going to be very original. It's going to be derivative by definition. That's what the AI tools do, is they go out and find the different stuff that's already been written or made, and then they try to combine it or take what seems to work a lot. And so if you just take what they give you, it's very derivative, it's very unoriginal. Anytime I ask it for ideas, even as I'm describing this video, most of them are just like, yeah, obvious, we've seen that 1,000 times before, I'm not going to use that. And people using that, there's just going to be a lot of mediocre work that's coming out. Already you can see that all over the internet. Tons of ChatGPT written stuff, just mediocre. Obvious, I can tell immediately when someone just copied and pasted from ChatGPT. But this is going to keep going, and I'm worried about people just getting lazy and not developing their own creative skills and just letting AI do it and using it as a crutch. And the same thing, if you stopped working out physically, your muscles would get weaker. Well, same thing's going to happen with your creative muscles. The less you do it, the more you let AI do everything, the less you actually use your creative muscles, they're going to get weaker. And then you're not even going to, and people are just not going to be as good creatively as they were because they let their muscles atrophy, right? By letting AI do it all. And that's just going to happen on a big scale, I see. So I'm really trying to inspire and help and guide and lead people to continuing to develop, learn, and increase their own creative skills, and then using AI as a tool to enhance their creativity, their creative output, but never stopping to develop your own personal creativity, your own creative skills, your own writing skills, visual art, whatever your thing is. Even business, right? People are obviously using AI tools to write business proposals, business plans, contracts, etc., which is great, but again, the muscles will atrophy if you don't use them. So really encouraging people to continue to develop their own brains and creative skills, writing skills, business skills, everything, and then use AI tools to increase and enhance the creativity, the output, the organization, etc., etc. So do that. Basically, I'm ending the video now, but basically keep enhancing whatever your skills are, whether creative, artistic, business, thinking, writing, all of it, and then experiment with these AI tools, see how you can use it to enhance your own process and your own output. And I will see you tomorrow in the next video.